Have you ever wondered how to make old age happy, healthy, and independent? Today we'll explore this with Eleanor Ellie Harper, 76, from Cannon Beach, Oregon. A woman who has turned her later years into a vibrant time thanks to robust health, solid finances, and an optimistic spirit. This video reveals 8 special things that help Ellie live with self-love, fully enjoying a meaningful life. Before diving into the story, comment where you're watching from, and don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the latest stories. If old age is a journey, then physical health is the sturdy legs that carry Eleanor Ellie Harper, 76, confidently along that path. Living in Cannon Beach, Oregon, Ellie doesn't see age as a reason to slow down. For her, a healthy body isn't just a condition for survival. It's the key that unlocks the door to freedom. Freedom to live the way she wants, without depending on anyone. That's why every day, as dawn breaks over Cannon Beach, Ellie slips on her worn-out sneakers, steps out of her small wooden house, and begins her walk along the fine sand, where Haystack Rock stands tall, amid the waves like a silent companion. Ellie's walk isn't just a habit, it's a declaration of the strength she maintains at 76. Each step on the damp sand, each breath mingled with the salty Pacific air, is proof that she still controls her body. "I don't need anyone to help me stand or guide me along," Ellie once said with a radiant smile, resting on a wooden bench near the beach. She walks about 2 miles every morning, not fast, but steady like the rhythm of the waves hitting the shore. For Ellie, keeping her body active not only keeps her legs nimble, but also brings a deep sense of pride, something no money can buy. But Ellie's health doesn't stop at walking. Back home, she steps into her small backyard garden, where rows of lettuce, tomatoes and kale grow lush under her own care. Ellie doesn't hire a gardener or ask her daughter Clara in Portland to send help. She digs the soil, plants the seeds, waters them, all with her own strength. "I love the feel of dirt on my hands, watching plants grow from seeds I planted," she says, her eyes sparkling with joy. The garden doesn't just provide fresh vegetables for her meals. It's where Ellie exercises her muscles, keeping her hands and back flexible. It's how she turns small tasks into natural workouts, no gym or trainer needed. Then in the cozy kitchen of her wooden house, Ellie cooks the meals she loves. One of her signature dishes is Oregon-style seafood chowder, with fresh clams from the local market, potatoes from her garden, and a touch of rich cream. She stands for hours by the stove, chopping vegetables, stirring the pot, seasoning it, all by herself. "Nothing tastes better than food you cook yourself," Ellie says, holding a wooden spoon, as the aroma of chowder fills the house. Her ability to prepare her own meals isn't just a joy, it's how Ellie proves she doesn't need anyone to care for her, a pride she cherishes above all else. Physical health also shines through in how Ellie cleans her home. She sweeps the floors, dusts the furniture, does the laundry, tasks many her age might hand off to others. But for Ellie, every time she picks up a broom or pushes the vacuum is a chance to stay limber. "I don't want Clara worrying about me, or Liam thinking his grandma's too weak to do anything," she shares sitting in her armchair, gazing out the sea-facing window. She once helped Clara clean when she visited, surprising her daughter with how spry she still is. Ellie knows health is the greatest gift she gives herself at this age. Without a doctor's nudge, she keeps up her active habits, not to show off, but to live true to herself. She recalls a neighbor once asking her secret to staying so energetic. Ellie just laughed. "I don't let my body rest too long. Rest is rust." That's her philosophy. Keep moving to keep her spirit free. Health doesn't just keep Ellie from being a burden to her family. It gives her an incredible sense of control. She doesn't need Clara to send money for medicine, or anyone to push her in a wheelchair. For Ellie, freedom is standing firm on her own 2 feet, tending to her home, her garden, and her life. At 76, Ellie proves that physical health is the foundation of an old age that's not just long, but worth living. And that's just the first of the 8 qualities that make her a gem. If physical health is the legs that keep Eleanor Ellie Harper steady at 76, then her optimistic spirit is the heart that keeps her glowing through her days in Cannon Beach, Oregon. For Ellie, living isn't just about a healthy body. It's about nurturing a bright soul, what she calls medicine from the heart. Though life has its challenges, Ellie always chooses to see the light instead of dwelling in the dark. That spirit has turned her old age into a cheerful tune, not a mournful melody. 5 years ago, Ellie faced her greatest loss. Her husband Henry, her companion of 50 years, passed away after a sudden illness. The small wooden house by Cannon Beach, once filled with their laughter, fell silent. Many thought Ellie would break, but she refused to let pain define her. "I didn't want Henry looking down and seeing me cry forever," she says, her eyes shining with resilience. Instead of locking herself in regret, Ellie started writing in a journal every night. She jotted down beautiful memories with Henry, like fishing together on the Columbia River, or making strawberry jam in the kitchen, and small things that made her smile today, like a vivid sunset over the sea. Journaling isn't just how Ellie keeps memories alive. It's therapy to let go of sadness. "When I write, I feel lighter, like a weight lifts off my chest," she shares, sitting in her armchair, holding a yellowed notebook. But Ellie doesn't stop there. She joined a meditation group at the Cannon Beach Community Center, learning to breathe deeply and focus on the present. Each morning, after her walk along Haystack Rock, Ellie meditates on the sand, letting the sound of the waves soothe her soul. "Meditation shows me every day is a gift. No matter what happens," she says, a gentle smile on her lips. Ellie's optimism isn't just personal. It spreads to those around her. When Clara visits from Portland, Ellie doesn't complain about the struggles of aging. Instead, she shares funny stories from her days teaching at the local elementary school, like the time she dressed as a superhero to calm a crying student. Clara once said, "Mom always makes me laugh, even when I'm the one who should be comforting her." Ellie believes joy is contagious, and she wants to be a light for her family, not a burden. Even on Oregon's rainy, gray days, when the sky hides the sun, Ellie keeps her spirit bright. She turns on the radio for jazz, brews a hot cup of tea, and watches the rain through the window. "Rain's beautiful too, if you know how to look," she says, holding a steaming mug. Ellie doesn't let weather or circumstances drag her down. For her, every moment, sunny or stormy, is worth cherishing. That attitude not only helps her move past losing Henry, but also eases life's little stresses. Ellie has learned to let go of what she can't change. She doesn't resent how age makes her hands shakier or her strength less than it once was. "Getting mad doesn't fix anything. It just tires you out," she says, knitting a scarf for her grandson, Liam. Instead of fixating on negatives, Ellie focuses on what she can still do: cook, garden, chat with friends on Zoom. That mindset keeps her emotionally healthy, helping her sleep better and stress less. If physical health is her legs and optimism her heart, then financial independence is the wings that let Eleanor Ellie Harper, 76, soar in her later years. For Ellie, money isn't a measure of wealth. It's a tool for freedom. Freedom to live comfortably, ask for nothing, and hold on to her dignity. At an age when many worry about bills or lean on their kids, Ellie stands tall on her financial feet, turning her small wooden house by the beach into a fortress of self-reliance. Ellie isn't rich in a lavish way, no yachts or million-dollar mansions, but she has what she needs to live with ease. A pension from over 30 years, teaching elementary school, plus a modest savings she and her late husband Henry built over decades. Her Cannon Beach house, where she lives alone, was paid off long ago. "I don't want Clara in Portland sending me money, or Liam thinking his grandma's got nothing but empty hands," Ellie says, holding a coffee mug, gazing at the shimmering waves through the window. For her, financial independence isn't just a bank balance. It's the peace of knowing she can fend for herself. Managing money is an art Ellie honed young. She doesn't splurge, but she's not stingy either. Each month she budgets clearly: utilities, groceries, health insurance, and a little for life's pleasures. Lee enjoys shopping at the Cannon Beach Farmers Market herself, buying fresh clams and veggies for chowder, instead of relying on pricey delivery. "I don't need anyone paying for me. Going to the market's cheaper and fun," she laughs, carrying a worn wicker basket. This smart thrift keeps her finances steady, never desperate. But financial independence for Ellie isn't just getting by, it's living well. She uses her pension to treat herself to short trips now and then. Last summer, she drove her old Honda Civic to Crater Lake National Park, a few hours from Cannon Beach. Standing by the clear blue lake, breathing mountain air, she felt the joy of a 76-year-old still exploring on her own. "I didn't ask Clara for ticket money, or need a companion. This is freedom, she recalls, her eyes lighting up. Whose trips aren't extravagant, but they enrich her life. Lee knows financial independence isn't just for her. It's a gift to her family. Clara, her daughter, is busy with her Portland job and raising 12-year-old Liam. I don't want Clara worrying about me. She's got enough on her plate, Ellie says, knitting a scarf for Liam. By handling her own money, Ellie lightens her kids' load, keeping family ties warm and easy. She once sent Clara a birthday card with $20, not because Clara needed it, but to show she can still give, not just take. Ellie's self-reliance also shields her from traps many American seniors face, overspending or debt. She ignores pricey supplement ads on TV and doesn't gamble on shady investments. I keep my money safe because it's my freedom, she says, pointing to a small safe in the corner where she stores important papers. For Ellie, finances aren't for show. They protect the life she's built. Ellie treasures her wooden house, her biggest asset. It's not just a home. It's a symbol of independence. Owning my place means I don't rely on anyone or worry about being kicked out, she shares, sitting on the porch, listening to the waves. That house, with her pension and savings, gives Ellie control over her life, from fixing a leaky roof to buying a new armchair for sea views. Living healthy, optimistic, and financially independent has let Eleanor Ellie Harper, 76, thrive in Cannon Beach, Oregon. But what truly makes her special is her knack for connecting with younger generations. For Ellie, age isn't a gap that separates her from her daughter Clara or grandson Liam. It's a chance to build bridges of understanding and love across generations. At an age when many stick to old tales or complaints, Ellie listens, adapts and supports, making herself vital to her family's life. Ellie knows communication isn't just talking, it's connecting. Weekly, she Zooms with Clara in Portland, not to grumble about health or rainy Cannon Beach weather, but to ask about Clara's stressful healthcare job. She tells me about night shifts, and I just listen and tell her to take care. Ellie says, sitting at her laptop, adjusting her glasses. She doesn't push old-fashioned advice, letting Clara vent, creating a safe space. When Clara's worn out, Ellie texts a chocolate chip cookie recipe, a childhood favorite, quietly saying she's there, ready to lift her up. With 12-year-old grandson Liam, Ellie's even more deft. Instead of just recounting her teaching days at Cannon Beach Elementary, she asks about his school, basketball team, or video games he loves. Once Liam excitedly explained Minecraft on Zoom, and Ellie didn't interrupt or act confused. She smiled. Sounds like building houses on the sand here. I'd like to build something too. Later she watched YouTube to learn more. Then messaged Liam. Next time teach me to build a castle, okay? Liam laughed. And now they've got a weekend chat topic. Ellie adapts to tech to stay close. She was wary of Zoom at first, but after Clara's phone guidance, she mastered it. I don't want Clara driving hours from Portland just to see me. Tech brings me closer, she says, pointing to the laptop on her kitchen table. She even emails photos, like one from Haystack Rock, so Liam sees she's still active. This flexibility not only keeps ties strong, but makes her a companion, not a distant elder. But Ellie's effective communication isn't just tech, it's empathy. When Clara called crying after a fight with her husband, Ellie didn't lecture or blame. She listened, then softly shared how she and Henry once clashed over home repairs and worked it out with patience. Take it easy, it'll be okay, she said warmly, over the phone. Clara texted later, thanks Mom, I feel better. Ellie doesn't need fancy words. She uses experience and love to soothe, not escalate. Ellie avoids what drives distance. She doesn't repeat old stories until Clara or Liam tire of them, or whine about aging for pity. I want my kids to see me as fun, not a grumpy old lady. She laughs, knitting Liam's scarf. Instead of focusing on herself, she asks about Liam's dreams. He wants to be an astronaut. And cheers. You'll fly farther than I can imagine. That encouragement has Liam bragging to friends about his cool grandma. For Ellie, effective communication bridges her to the young, not just in her family, but her community. She chats with neighborhood kids on her walks, asking about school or upcoming Halloween. Kids like adults who care, and I like hearing them talk, she shares sitting on her porch, watching them play outside. At 76, Ellie's not just an old lady in Cannon Beach. She's a friend, mother, and grandma everyone wants to talk to. Living healthy, optimistic, financially independent, and communicating well has made Eleanor Ellie Harper shine at 76. But what truly sets her apart is her relentless curiosity. For Ellie, old age isn't a time to stop or let the world pass her by. It's a chance to keep her mind sharp, catch up with the digital age, and stay confident in a changing world. At an age when many shy from tech, Ellie embraces it like a friend, turning new challenges into joy and strength. It started when Ellie realized staying connected with Clara in Portland and Liam meant more than an old rotary phone. I didn't want Clara calling forever because I couldn't use anything else. She laughs, pointing to the laptop on her kitchen table. Ellie signed up for a free iPad class at the Cannon Beach Library, sitting with other seniors, learning to turn it on and install apps. At first, she fumbled, hitting wrong buttons, forgetting passwords, but she didn't quit. If Liam can play games on a computer, I've got to do something too, she told herself. Eyes determined. Within weeks, Ellie mastered Zoom, chatting with Liam about Minecraft, or asking Clara about work. But she didn't stop there. She learned to order from Amazon, books on gardening, flower seeds for her backyard plot. I like picking what I need, not asking someone to buy it, she says, opening a new package with an Oregon cookbook inside. She even figured out online bill payments through her bank app, spending hours entering account numbers, checking invoices, and smiling at payments successful. Ellie doesn't learn to brag. She learns to stay independent. If I don't know tech, I'd rely on Clara for everything. I don't want that, she shares, sitting on her porch, watching waves hit Haystack Rock. She proudly recalls booking her first online bus ticket to visit a friend in Astoria, an hour from Cannon Beach. No one had to take me. Doing it myself is the best. She laughs, holding the ticket printed from her email. These skills don't just keep her self-reliant. They make her feel part of today's world. But Ellie's learning isn't just tech. She reads NPR news on her phone, tracks weather for walk planning, and finds new chowder recipes, like adding lobster to her signature dish. I don't need to know everything, just enough to live easy, she says, cooking as the aroma fills her kitchen. She visits trusted sites for gardening tips, like watering in Oregon's rainy season, instead of relying solely on old know-how. Ellie's curiosity inspires others. When she told her meditation group about ordering online, her friend Martha, 78, asked for help. I showed Martha step by step. Now she buys knitting yarn online. Ellie says, eyes gleaming. She doesn't see learning as a chore, but a way to keep her mind nimble. If I stop learning, my brain'll stall like an old machine. I don't want that, she says, knitting Liam's scarf, hands swift. For Ellie, constant learning keeps her mind sharp, letting her live confidently and independently in a digital age. At 76, she's not just an old lady. She's someone moving forward, proving it's never too late to learn. That's the fifth quality, making her a gem, a curious soul, always ready to embrace the world. Health, optimism, financial independence, effective communication, and a thirst for learning have let Eleanor Ellie Harper, 76, live fully. But what truly colors her life are her simple personal hobbies. For Ellie, old age isn't a time to sit still or let days slip by in boredom. It's a chance to find joy in little things, nourishing her soul with private passions. At an age when many see hobbies as a luxury, Ellie makes them her lifeblood, turning each day in her wooden beach house into something memorable. Ellie's biggest hobby is painting, a passion she discovered after retiring. Before, teaching and family left no time for a brush. But one day, at a Cannon Beach Community Center art club, Ellie picked up a pencil and paper, sketching the sea with Haystack Rock. I didn't think I could paint, thought I was just good at teaching kids to read. She laughs, holding her first clumsy drawing. Over time, she learned to mix colors, use brushes, and turn strokes into vivid Oregon scenes, deep blue waves, misty pine forests, or blazing sunsets. Painting isn't just fun, it keeps Ellie's mind sharp and heart light. Each morning after her beach walk, She sits on the porch with her easel, listening to the waves and letting colors flow with her feelings. When I paint, I forget all my tiredness. It's just me and the sea, she says, dipping her brush in blue. Ellie doesn't need to be a pro. She paints for love, for the freedom of creating with her own hands. Her favorite piece, a rainy afternoon on the beach, hangs in her living room, a reminder that even gloomy days can be beautiful. Ellie shares her hobby with the community. She joins the Cannon Beach Art Fair each summer, displaying her paintings alongside local artists. I don't sell much, but seeing people like my work is enough, she shares, setting up her easel at her booth. Once a child pointed at her wave painting and said, "You made this, it's so pretty." Ely beamed, gifting him a small sketch. For her, hobbies aren't just personal joy, they connect, spreading happiness. Besides painting, Ellie loves knitting, a skill she learned from her mom as a young girl. She sits in her armchair, knitting scarves or hats for Liam, listening to jazz on the radio. "Knitting relaxes me, hands busy, mind at ease," she says, needles clicking. Each finished scarf goes to Liam with a handwritten note. "Grandma made this to keep you warm." Liam once zoomed her, wearing a green knit hat, grinning. "Grandma, my friends say this is cool." Those moments make Ellie happier than any praise. Ellie's hobbies don't need to be grand or costly. They fit her health and life. She doesn't dance in the park or play chess for hours, as her back isn't what it used to be. But painting and knitting are just right, enough to keep her busy, enough to bring joy. "I don't push myself too hard. I do what I like," she says, smoothing a fresh sheet of paper by her easel. For Ellie, hobbies are a way to play with life, not let it pass quietly. Ellie believes hobbies fend off loneliness, old age's biggest foe. "When I paint or knit, I don't have time to feel sad. There's always something to do," she shares, gazing at the sea through her window. She recalls a friend from the art club, Martha, who was miserable after retiring, but found joy painting with Ellie. "Hobbies are medicine you don't buy, you just have to try," Ellie says, holding a newly finished painting. Health, optimism, financial independence, effective communication, constant learning, and personal hobbies have made Eleanor Ellie Harper vibrant at 76. But what truly anchors her soul is her enduring relationships. For Ellie, lasting bonds, especially the 50 years with her late husband Henry, are not just memories, but a profound source of strength, offering meaning and comfort that new relationships can hardly match. In old age, when many seek new companions, Ellie cherishes the value of connections that have weathered life's storms with her. Ellie and Henry met when she was just 22, at a dance in Portland. From there, they built a life together. From tough days when Ellie taught school, and Henry worked as a carpenter, to when they bought the wooden house in Cannon Beach for retirement. "We weren't rich, but we always had each other," Ellie recalls, sitting on the porch, smoothing an old photo of them by the Columbia River, holding fishing rods. They fished together on weekends, made strawberry jam in the kitchen, or watched sunsets at Haystack Rock. Those moments aren't just memories. They're the foundation that keeps Ellie steady after Henry's death 5 years ago. Losing Henry was a massive blow, but Ellie didn't let grief destroy her. Instead, she draws strength from their years together. Each morning, brewing coffee, she recalls how Henry liked a small spoonful of sugar. Painting, she thinks of him praising her sketches, even when they were just for fun. "Henry's still here, in everything I do," she says, pointing to a wave painting on the wall, one she made right after his funeral, like a goodbye. For Ellie, a long-term relationship doesn't end when someone leaves. It lives on in her heart, a daily comfort. Ellie compares her enduring bond to her neighbor Walter's new relationship. At 74, after his wife died, Walter remarried Susan through a friend's introduction. They live in a small house a few blocks from Ellie, but she sees the difference. Walter and Susan are together for convenience. They care for each other, but there's no depth. She shares, knitting, and watching Walter mow the lawn through the window. Walter once said he and Susan lack shared memories. They met just months before marrying, and now their bond feels more practical than deeply loving. In contrast, Ellie feels the richness of her 50 years with Henry. They argued, like when Henry wanted to fix the roof while Ellie wanted a new cabinet, but always made up with a hug and laughter. We knew each other down to a glance, she says, her eyes lighting up as she recalls gardening in the rain together, soaked but happy. Those experiences, from joy to hardship, forged a bond Ellie believes is irreplaceable. To her, a long-term relationship is like an ancient tree, deep roots, strong branches, unlike the young saplings of late-life connections. Ellie doesn't oppose finding new friends in old age. She understands Walter's need for companionship, but she treasures the difference an enduring bond brings. Henry's part of me. No one new can fill that space, she says, sitting in her armchair, holding their yellowed wedding photo. Henry's presence in her memories keeps loneliness at bay, even living alone. She doesn't need someone new to fill a void. Her years with Henry give her enough strength to live happily, from painting to chatting with Clara and Liam. Ellie also sees the value of enduring relationships and how they shape her family. Clara grew up in her parents' love, and now she values her mom more for what Ellie and Henry built. I know you're strong because of Dad. I learned from you both, Clara once said on Zoom. Liam, though he didn't know his grandpa long, loves Ellie's stories about Henry, like when he made a kite for him to fly on the beach. For Ellie, an enduring bond isn't just hers. It's a legacy for her kids and grandkids. Health, optimism, financial independence, effective communication, constant learning, personal hobbies, and enduring relationships have made Eleanor Ellie Harper whole at 76. But the final piece perfecting her gem is an open heart. For Ellie, old age isn't a time to narrow her view, or let her heart shrink with envy or resentment. It's a time to live calmly, accepting life's ups and downs with a gentle smile. At an age when many grow irritable or comparative, Ellie chooses openness, turning her days by the beach into a poem of peace. Ellie doesn't envy what others have. When her painting club friend Martha brags about a new car or a Hawaii trip, Ellie just smiles. I'm happy for her. Everyone has their own joy. She doesn't weigh herself down with what she lacks, like a bigger house or a fatter bank account. This wooden house, my little garden and the sea in front are enough for me, she says, sitting on the porch, holding a teacup, watching waves hit Haystack Rock. For Ellie, happiness isn't in having more, but in being content with what she has. She doesn't complain about aging's limits either. Her hands shake more when painting, and her back sometimes aches after gardening, but she doesn't let it rile her. Everyone gets old. I can still do plenty and that's good enough, she shares, knitting, her voice steady like the sea's rhythm. Ellie accepts her body's flaws as a natural part of life, not a cause for frustration. She doesn't compare herself to Clara, thriving in Portland, or Liam, bursting with energy. She just lives true to herself now. Ellie's open heart shows in how she faces the unchangeable. When Henry died, she didn't curse fate or drown in regret. She said, but life goes on. I have to live for Henry too, she says, gazing at their wedding photo on the table, her eyes soft. Ellie doesn't fret much about the future. Will her health worsen? Will she see Liam grow up? I can't predict anything, so I just live well today. She laughs, smoothing a new painting of a rainy day. Ellie doesn't let her heart shrink toward others either. So when Clara's busy in Portland and forgets to call for weeks, Ellie isn't mad. She's got her own life. I get it, she says, writing a letter to Liam instead of waiting for Clara's call. She doesn't judge Walter, her remarried neighbor, for needing a companion, even though she chooses to live with Henry's memory. Everyone has their way. I don't need them to be like me, she shares, watching Walter and Susan walk by the window, holding a warm coffee mug. Ellie's calm brings her a gentle life. She doesn't get caught in petty drama, like when Martha argued with a flower vendor at the market. Ellie just watched and smiled. It's small stuff, don't let it tire you. She savors each day as a gift, whether a sunny one for painting, or a rainy one for jazz on the porch. Today's the best day because I'm living it, she says, looking at the sea through the window, her voice warm like an Oregon breeze. Her open heart helps Ellie live in harmony with herself and the world. She doesn't hold grudges or let negativity crowd her soul. Like when a stranger accidentally spilled coffee on her shirt at a cafe, Ellie just laughed. No big deal, it'll wash out. For her, forgiving and letting go keeps her spirit light. So old age isn't weighed down by pointless burdens. Eleanor Ellie Harper 76 doesn't just live fully thanks to health, optimism, financial independence, effective communication, constant learning, personal hobbies, enduring relationships, and an open heart. She also overcomes challenges to protect the life she's built. A small but meaningful story shows Ellie's vigilance and resilience, proving old age doesn't weaken her, but gives her a chance to show her mettle. One rainy afternoon, knitting in her wooden house, Ellie's phone rang. A polite voice, claiming to be a healthcare worker from Portland, offered her a free trial of supplements to boost senior health. They promised to ship it to her door, just needing her credit card info to verify. At first she wavered, who doesn't want to feel healthier? But then her constant learning kicked in. I read about scams like this on NPR, she thought, pausing her knitting, staring out at the sea through the window. Ellie didn't rush to answer. She politely said, "Let me think about it," and hung up. Then she opened her iPad, a skill from her Cannon Beach library class, and looked up the number. It was unofficial, tied to online scam reports. Ellie smiled. They picked the wrong person. Thanks to her habit of checking facts, honed while learning tech to connect with Liam, she dodged a trap that could have drained her modest savings. "I won't let anyone trick me out of money I spent a lifetime keeping," she says, her voice firm as she recounts it. Ellie didn't keep it to herself. At the next painting club meeting, she told her friends, especially Martha, who once nearly bought an overpriced massage chair by phone. "Check before you give info. Don't let them prey on your trust," Ellie advised, holding her paintbrush, eyes gleaming with pride. Martha nodded. "Good thing you're here, or I'd have lost my pension." Ellie laughed. "We're old, not dumb, right?" Her vigilance not only saved her, but helped friends avoid similar risks. This story proves how Ellie's 8 qualities work together. Health keeps her alert, optimism keeps her calm, financial independence makes her value every dollar, effective communication lets her decline gracefully, constant learning gives her knowledge, painting relaxes her after stress, her bond with Henry reminds her to stay careful for family, and her open heart keeps her from resenting the scammers. "They're just doing their job. I just protect myself," she says, sitting by the sea, holding a teacup. Eleanor Ellie Harper, 76, doesn't just live fully for herself. She spreads lessons from her 8 wonderful qualities to those around her. Health, optimism, financial independence, effective communication, constant learning, personal hobbies, enduring relationships, and an open heart not only help Ellie overcome challenges like the phone scam, but also make her a beacon of inspiration in this small beach town. For Ellie, living well isn't just for her, it's about sharing so others find light too. One fall afternoon, Ellie held a small talk at the Cannon Beach Library, where she learned to use her iPad. Standing before a dozen seniors, from painting club friends to new faces, she shared how she lives positively and independently at 76. "I'm not special, I just choose how to live each day," she said, holding a self-painted wave picture, her voice warm like an Oregon breeze. Ellie talked about walking by Haystack Rock, managing her money, and outsmarting that scam with vigilance. Ellie's words weren't just a story, they were a spark. Martha, her 78-year-old friend Ellie taught to order online, stood up. "Thanks to Ellie, I paint and buy yarn online. I don't feel useless anymore." Another, George, 80, admitted, he started morning walks after hearing Ellie on health. "I thought old age meant rest, but Ellie made me rethink." He grinned, leaning on his cane, eyes bright. Ellie just smiled. "If I can do it, you can too. Just start." Ellie doesn't preach or lecture, she inspires by living. She brought a small painting to the talk, gifting it to the library as thanks. "This is Cannon Beach's sea. I painted it to remember every day's beautiful," she said, handing it over to applause. After that, the community center added an art class for seniors, with Ellie as an unofficial guide. "I'm no great artist, but I love helping others find joy," she shared, sitting with Martha, painting a rainy afternoon. Ellie's impact reaches beyond what she expects. Helen, an 82-year-old, heard Ellie on openness and reconciled with her son after years apart. Ellie said, "Don't hold grudges." I listened and called him. Helen said over the phone, voice choked. For Ellie, such stories are the greatest reward. "I just want people to see old age isn't the end. It's a new start, she said, sitting on her porch, watching the sea gleam. Eleanor Ellie Harper, 76, has lived a radiant life, not just for herself, but spreading lessons to her community. The 8 qualities making her a gem: physical health, optimism, financial independence, effective communication, constant learning, personal hobbies, enduring relationships, and an open heart, aren't distant magic, but daily choices anyone can make. Through Ellie's journey, we see old age isn't an end, but golden years to shine if you live like her. Physical health lets Ellie walk by Haystack Rock, tend her garden, and cook chowder, the base of her freedom. Optimism is her heart's medicine, helping her overcome loss and spread joy to Clara and Liam. Financial independence from her pension and paid-off house gives her ease, relying on no one. Effective communication bridges her to the young, from Zoom with Liam to comforting Clara. Constant learning keeps her mind sharp, from iPad use to dodging scams. Painting and knitting bring small joys, enriching her soul. Her bond with Henry is lasting strength, unlike Walter's new ties, and her open heart lets her live calmly, accepting all with a smile. These traits don't just help Ellie thrive, they inspire Cannon Beach, from Martha painting to Helen mending ties with her son. Ellie's no superhero, just a 76-year-old choosing positivity. Anyone can do it if you want to, she says, sitting on her porch, watching waves sparkle. Her story reminds us, old age isn't a burden, but a chance to live fully, with dignity and joy. Ellie Harper's story, a 76-year-old from Cannon Beach, Oregon, mirrors many facets of modern U.S. life, from financial pressures to tech reliance and community needs. In today's world, with rising living costs like Oregon housing or property taxes, Ellie's financial independence, through her pension and paid-off home, is a lesson in long-term planning. Americans can apply it by saving early, using retirement programs like Ellie, rather than leaning on kids or social welfare. When she walks by Haystack Rock or grows veggies, Ellie shows health doesn't need pricey gyms, just simple habits like park walks or yard work. Doable amid busy American lives. Ellie's Zoom chats with Liam and Clara reflect America's tech shift, where distance isn't a barrier if you learn. Seniors can try free library classes, like Ellie, to keep up in the digital age. Her painting at fairs suggests joining community events, like local fairs or clubs, to fight loneliness, a common U.S. issue. Finally, Ellie's openness, not envying Martha or resenting Clara, teaches letting go of stress, vital in America's competitive culture. Live like Ellie, simple, proactive, connected, the key to a fulfilling old age. If you want to learn more from stories like Ellie's, to make your golden years brighter, hit subscribe and turn on notifications.